Welcome to DIY RV and Home Camper's Life. We are back up on the roof of our RV today doing some upgrades, and I'm gonna say that you probably see what's going on. We spent about 10 days camping and up in the forest, and we found that the 200-watt solar panel that we have up here along with the 200 on the ground just was not quite keeping up with what we wanted to keep the batteries charged. So got 3 more coming on here. I'll have 500 on the top, plus I'll have use of 200 down below still. So I thought I'd bring you along now. These 2 right here are from Windy Nation. We picked those up and installed those last year. These 3 are by Rich Solar. Very similar specs, same size. So, and they're the polycrystalline, so should have no problem. And I'm going to be running these in series, so when it's all said and done, I'm going to have about 100 about 100 volts going down with about 5 to 6. Let's pull this, grab this one and look at the specs real quick. So it shows 18.5 volts maximum with a 5.86 open circuit. So we're going to be running about, like I say, roughly 120 volts and about 6 amps down to our controller. So first things first is, like I said, we've got Rich Solar panels. I picked up some brackets for them, and these I got through Bouge RV, and there's links for Amazon below. I like taking Turn-A-Bond tape and using it as basically a little bit of a buffer in between the actual roof and the bracket, so a little cushion there. So I'm going to be putting those down. So I've got those pre-cut. I've got sheet metal screws that I'm going to be using. They're 8x1, and I've got a 1/8-inch drill that I'm going to be piloting the holes, and then I'll use just a regular screwdriver to put these in. I don't want to strip out the holes. Got some solar cable here, so I can make up the leads that I need. Got my solar crimper set from iWis, along with some MC4 connectors in there, so we're going to be using that to build the cables. Dicor lap sealant. This is the self-leveling that we're going to be using. Of course, caulk gun. And I've also got my multimeter that we're going to be checking the open voltage, make sure that the panels are looking good. So I'm going to first check the open voltage on them, make sure that that's proper, and then I'm going to lay them out how I want them. And I'm going to probably go one here, and then probably have this one kind of like this orientation, but right over here, right where my feet are. So I don't know how I'm going to get that in place standing here, but we'll figure it out. So let me get some stuff going real quick. I'll come back to you in a minute. All right, so with my tester set on DC volts, I want to test the open circuit on this, and I'm also going to check for polarity, make sure that they did wire this right. They show that minus on the female and the male is positive, so we're going to go ahead and put our positive probe there and our negative probe and see what our open voltage is. Our open voltage is 20.6, well, 20.7576, and our open voltage current 22.6 volts. So that's really close. So we'll call that good. We'll check the other ones, make sure they're at similar numbers. If it was off, then we would know that there's a problem with one of the panels. So, okay, I'm going to check the other ones, and I'll bring you back once I get these kind of laid out where I want them. All right, so I've checked all the open voltages on the 3 panels. They're showing all the same voltage, so I'm confident that they're all working properly. Kind of got them laid out the way I want them to be, as we can see. Have this one sit there. I can still set my ladder up, and I still have a walkway to come through. I can get to all of my areas that have sealant on it, so I can check and make sure that they're good on my yearly inspection. And I'll be able to do basically tie each one of these together, and then I just need to make up a couple cables to finish it out. So I'm going to go ahead and get the feet on, get them positioned, and then I'll come back once I get the feet on, and then also put some Dicor in the spots where I'm going to mount them. Alright, so to mount these, here's the brackets, and I'm going to go ahead and mount them like this. So they'll sit like that. Actually, they'll sit like that. That way I can just put my some mounting screws in, and I'm just going to be using those nuts and bolts right there to attach. Metric 10mm. So I'm going to start getting those attached, and I'll come back. All right, now since we are at the house, we've been plugged in. Our batteries are 100% full, and I want to see how well this is going to work when I get it all hooked up. I've got the fan running on my air conditioner, just the fan. I'm running my refrigerator. We always keep that running, so I'm running that off of our inverter. I've got lights on, everything like that. So I'm pulling about 23, 24 amps right now from the battery, so I can get them dropped down, so that once we get this all done and set up, I can come back and see how much improvement I've got. I'll test and see what it's like with just the 2 panels installed, and then I'll come back and I'll swap out and I'll go to 3 panels. Luckily today there's no clouds in the sky to obscure the test results, so keep going. I'm almost there. I've got the legs on, and now it'll be starting to get the Dicor underneath, holes drilled, or the pilot holes. I'm going to put Dicor, then set the brackets back on top of the Eternal Bond tape that I put down, and then I'll screw them, and then I'll put more Dicor on. So back to you in a minute. All right, now I've got my Eternal Bond tape under each one of the feet for the solar panels. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take my lap caulking. I'll raise it up, squirt some under each hole, and then come back and I'll drill, and then I will go ahead and screw down with the screws. And yeah, I'm going to get Dicor all over the bit. Oh well, life goes on. Then once I get all that done and those tightened up, and I'm going to be using just a regular screwdriver to tighten them up, I'll come back and I'll add Dicor over the top of them, just kind of like I did right here, to make sure that they are completely sealed. So we've got them screwed down in place. You can see I put some Dicor underneath and screwed them down, finished it off with a screwdriver. And I'm going to come back and make sure that each one of the heads has got a liberal amount of Dicor over the top of it as an additional sealing. Don't be stingy with this. So I'll finish that up and come back. Well, I got a quick tip for you. Here's the wires for the solar panel. As you notice, they're not present on this one. I forgot to pull them out when I was laying them down. So it's got me a wire, got it bent. And let's see. See if you can see what I'm doing. I'm just coming in and hooking. And there they are. So just in case you pull that bonehead move like I did, little fish there, get you out. So, okay, I'm gonna keep going. I gotta fish this one out and then start laying out how I'm gonna do my series. So come back to you in a minute. So I've got it laid out. I'm gonna do it. My positive is gonna come in and go into the panel. Then we're gonna go positive in, negative to our positive of this panel, come out the negative and go to the positive of the second panel and build a series. And then we're coming out with the negative here, and so I'll put an end on here, and I've already kind of figured out how long I want that one, and I'll tie right into that one. This one right here will actually tie into the new panels, so I just got to make one connector right here. And that'll be eased with the crimper kit from iWis. So let's go down and see what our solar is bringing in real quick, and then we'll come back up and we'll do the hookup and then go back down and see what kind of improvement we got. All right, so now that we've got everything ready up on the roof, just to swap over plugs real quick, come down and take a look at what we've got. We got 32 volts, 32.6 volts coming in with 4 amps, and we're outputting 12.4 volts and 10.4 amps. So let's go upstairs. That means the roof, and we will swap out and move the cables to where we get all 5 of them going. And just so you know real quick, I am going to be coming in to this one, to this one, this one, that one, and back out. It's the way it's going to work with the least amount of wiring on the roof. So the least run, the better. So that's how it's going to work for me. So I'm going to get that done, come back, we'll jump down and we'll look at the results. All right, we've got it all hooked up. It's not pretty right now, for sure, but we got it hooked up. Let's get down there and see what kind of improvement we got. Okay, so we are back down below. Right now, we are bringing in 82.3 amps. Excuse me. All right, here we go. What was the difference? We are now bringing in 82.2 volts, 3.7 amps. We're converting it to 12.5 volts, and now it is at 24.5 amps going in. We've over doubled our output from the MPPT. And let's come inside and let's look at our battery monitor. So we're at 66%. We are still losing because we've got everything going. Well, let's see. So it shows that we're losing 26 because we're pulling over 50 amps. Let's go ahead and shut down the fan. Come around. So now we're just under 2.5 amps that we're losing, and that's from running the refrigerator, Again, we're at 65.9. Let's go ahead and unplug the refrigerator for a second. Oh, I could have done that out there. Okay. Refrigerator's unplugged. And for temporary, we'll just go ahead and turn on a propane bottle until I get the shoreline hook back up on it. The way I have this set up, when I have the converter going, we don't have the refrigerator or the battery charger, or the converter, excuse me. Now we're showing we're bringing voltage in. As you see, we've already gone up a little bit on our percentage. We're bringing in 20.78 amps there. Let's go ahead and shut everything off. 22, 26.4. There we go. We weren't even seeing that with 2 ground panels and the 2 up on top. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to set up my 2 Jackery panels here, and we're just going to see what that does. Alright, so our battery monitor is showing that we're bringing in 27.04 amps into the batteries, and you can see we're climbing quite a bit. Let's go out and take a look at what our roof is bringing in for us. There's the Jackeries. Got those plugged in right there, and that's through an upgrade that I did to my solar prep that we had. So 23.3 amps is what we've got, 0.4 going from here. So again, 23.4, and back over here, 26.9, 28. So a little over 3.5 amps, almost 4 amps from the Jackeries. So nice. So our problem was that we were charging maybe 15 at the max, and then it dropped off, and we just never really got full while we were camping. We tried to run the generators less as possible. We tried to run the generator as little as possible, and we weren't keeping up. So looks like this is going to help us recharge our batteries that much faster. Look at that, 67.5, and we were at 66.1 just a couple minutes ago. Very nice. All right, folks, there's a link in the description below to all the different products I used, the solar panels, the brackets, the crimp tool, even the wire. So if you got something out of this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Till the next one, hopefully it's cooler. Happy camping.